Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. It feels like a Tuesday, but it is a Wednesday. This is going to be one of those weird weeks.
It's going to be a weird week, yeah.
Labor Day. I hope everybody had a good time, by the way, on Labor Day. Moving right along, though. Coming up later in the program, we got a special guest. You know who we're going to be chatting with?
Who's that?
Going to be talking with somebody that has a book called Meetings Suck. I'm actually looking forward to that. So, going to be chatting about how awful meetings are. I agree. Some meetings can be awful. So, I'm looking forward to chatting with them. I can't read my handwriting very well. It looks like it says Cameron Herold, but I don't know if that's right. So, I need to write these things a little more clearly in the future. Hopefully, Cameo calls me. The average human body is covered with 20 square feet of skin, Heidi. It's a lot of skin.
That is a lot of skin.
20 square feet. Another fun fact for you here. Experts say kissing a child's boo-boo really does make it better. Children believe the pain will stop, and that triggers the release of a pain-killing endorphin, so it really does help.
Oh.
So next time you get an owie, you could kiss it yourself. As long as you believe it's going to help, it's going to help.
That's
so,
cool.
There you go. Some fun, interesting things to learn on a Wednesday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Wednesday, September the 7th. Today is Google Commemoration Day. I believe that means like today is the day that Google launched.
All right.
I use Google a lot. I look stuff up all the time, and it's like built into my phone. So I'm like what is it like predetermined to use it? That's not the right word. Anyway, whatever it is. They just make it really easy, you know, and it's harder for me to go like out of my way to use something else. So I just said, fine, I give up. I'll use Google. But today's their day. Today is also Grandma Moses Day, Neither Snow Nor Rain Day, Salami Day, and National Attention Deficit Disorder Awareness Day.
Okay.
I got completely off track in the middle of saying that. They should shorten that up a little bit. That's a long title for people with ADD. National Attention Deficit Disorder Awareness Day.
There you go.
So does that stand like Nada Day? Was that what we call that then? Nada Day? No?
No.
You don't think so?
Probably not.
All right. Heidi has a hangover, so we're not going to ask her much today. We can just move right along.
Things are just not processing like they
She had
should.
a lot of wine last night. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Pedestrian police officers, people in Chicago, went undercover as pedestrians to bust people for very specific driving violations. A very unusual undercover operation in Chicago where police posed as pedestrians, while fellow officers waited for drivers to fly by in violation of a law that requires motorists to yield at crosswalks, even if there's no stop sign. Thanks to Officer Grace Delgado, police stopped 78 vehicles, Heidi, in just 2 hours. That's a lot of vehicles.
That is a lot.
And it could have been double that if they stopped everybody. They only stopped drivers who kept moving after Delgado had walked 4 or 5 feet onto the road, and they like swerved around her, dang near hitting her. The reason that they're doing this is about 48 pedestrians were killed in Chicago and 61,000 injured in
my gosh.
1 year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 1 year. So they play Frogger in real life in Chicago pretty much every day. 4,800 people killed, 4,800 people killed, 61,000 injured. Hopefully those are the same numbers I said before because those are accurate.
That is insane.
Yeah, 4,800 people killed and 61,000 injured just walking across the road in Chicago. And
I wasn't a fan of Chicago.
Yeah, we went there to visit. That would be really tough for me to live in a city like that.
I've got some very good friends that are moving to Chicago.
Oh, wow. We ain't going to come visit, just so you know.
Well, he's already invited us to come and visit them. Yeah.
We have plans that day. What day? Any day. Any day. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration gave us those numbers, by the way. So if you're wondering where that came from, I didn't make it up, even though it sounded like I did. All right. And that's a lot of people. 4,800 people killed in a single year and 61,000 injured in a single year just crossing the road in Chicago.
That's insane.
Yeah. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Granbury, Texas finds Thomas Parsons quite angry because a couple of his friends have been arrested on drug possession charges. He thought, I'm going to go say something about this. The more he thought about it, the more upset he got. He decided to drive down to City Hall, give them a piece of his mind. When he got there, he attempted to park, and he bumped over the curb and broke some sprinklers and then destroyed several shrubs. When he walked into the building, he was making such a fuss. They thought, we should probably breathalyze this guy because he just destroyed a bunch of property, and he kind of seems to be drunk. And he was. When they got over to the car to have it impounded, they found a bunch of marijuana and paraphernalia.
Wow.
So he got to hang out with those friends that were in jail. He got to join them. So, yeah. Probably not the smartest thing to do if you want to,
Yeah, if you want to try to help your friends, that's not the way to go about it.
You don't show up drunk with drugs in your car.
No.
That's just a bad plan. You make phone calls when you're drunk. You don't go in person. No, you don't even do that. That's a bad plan, too. But it would have been a better plan because you should never, ever drink and drive. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. We've got your moment of duh on the way.
John and Heidi.
Smoking in a restaurant is not just bad for you, it could also get you arrested. In a lot of places now, it is illegal to smoke in restaurants. Brazil is where we're heading right now. 6 police cars in Brazil raced to Rio de Janeiro restaurant after police got a complaint from a patron that a man smoking a cigar would refuse to put out the cigar. The Justice Department is investigating why so many police showed up and why they were called in the first place, seeing that the man was sitting in the smoking section. So in this particular restaurant, they have a smoking section still in Brazil. This guy was in the smoking section
So
smoking
who was
a
it
cigar.
that was screaming and yelling at this guy?
Another patron called the police, and 6 police cars showed up to get a man to put out a cigar in the smoking section. So there you go. A lot of places don't even have a smoking section anymore. So and it's interesting because I don't smoke, and my mother used to smoke, and she quit. I'm so proud of her for quitting. And for those of you who want to quit, there are people out there that'll help you do that. But for those of you who still smoke, where do you even smoke anymore? Because it's illegal to smoke anywhere, especially in Brazil, apparently.
Outside.
Yeah, there you go. Coming up, we've got your Scoop of the Day. That is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your Scoop of the Day. According to a study, more education may actually lead to more headaches, Heidi. People with graduate degrees seem to get more headaches than those with college degrees. High school grads get fewer headaches. I'm really glad I don't have more education because I got enough headaches the way it is.
I hardly ever get a headache.
Well, what does that say about you?
What?
They're basically
Says
just saying,
I'm a high school grad.
according to this study, people who use their brain more get more headaches. You're like, I never get headaches.
I really don't.
That's really funny. A retired New Jersey police officer is being hailed a hero after he saved a 4-month-old baby trapped inside a sweltering parked car by bashing a window open with a sledgehammer. Stephen Eccles said the baby girl was in distress Monday when he and another woman spotted her screaming in the back seat of a car at a shopping center. Eccles said he ran to his car in his flip-flops and grabbed a sledgehammer that he had in the trunk. The retired cop then raced the baby into a nearby store and began wetting her body with water to cool her down. She was very, very hot.
Oh, my gosh.
Isn't that crazy? And, that is the right thing to do right there. I mean,
Wow.
you definitely do that. And I was watching a video where, this is on Facebook, where somebody did that with, somebody left their dog in a car. And then got busy inside, and somebody busted the window out, and they were freaking out about them breaking out the window. What they should have been doing is saying, "Thank you for saving my dog. I had no clue that it was that hot." But it turned into a heated discussion. Chris Brown, speaking of people getting heated, has been fired from 50 Cent. Has a show called Power. He's been let go because of anger issues.
Huh.
That whole crew there. I don't know if you've ever been involved in any of that. If you've watched any of that,
I really don't
a lot
pay
of
any
anger issues
attention to
involved all
them.
around there. So I think it's funny when 50 Cent is saying you may have anger issues. You have a problem. Hey, one hateful Facebook comment might reduce you to tears, but a recent study found that the likes you get may also have a negative impact, especially on your waistline and your pocketbook. Yeah. Researchers from, they got nothing better to do at Columbia Business School. Professor Keith Wilcox was in charge, and the University of Pittsburgh professor Andrew Steffen, they all worked together to study people who use Facebook, and they found the more likes and more self-affirming comments they got, the more likely they were to reach for a cookie over a granola bar. So there you go. That explains why I don't even eat granola bars.
I think
People like
everybody
my comments?
would
Cookies
rather
it is.
have a cookie over a granola bar.
There's some people that would rather have a granola bar. Those are the sad people.
Those are the sad people.
I'm just kidding. Hey, if you're eating a granola bar right now, I love you. It was a cheap shot, but I had to take it. Hey, if your toothbrush fell in the toilet, would you throw it away or rinse it off?
You'd throw it away.
Get this. 9% of men said they would fish the toothbrush out and use it again. What?
Well, I guess that would depend on
No.
as long as the toilet water was clean.
No, there's no clean water in a toilet. You know what else has been in there? No way. No way. Almost half of all adults said if their toothbrush fell on the floor, they would use it again, even though they acknowledge the bathroom floor is probably the dirtiest in the house. This is a survey done by Philip Sonicare. So here's the thing. If my toothbrush falls on the floor, it's going in the trash. If it falls in the toilet, it's going in the trash. Why are you smiling? Has my toothbrush been on the floor? Has it?
I'm sure it has.
Are you serious? We're married. You would know. Has it really? You got to tell me.
I believe your toothbrush has been on the floor.
I'm going to get my own toothbrush, and I'm going to hide it somewhere in a hermetically sealed Ziploc bag so you can't find it. I'm not going to let you know where it is. And let's keep that one out as a dummy toothbrush. Are you serious? It's been on the floor?
I'm sure it has.
Why? Has yours been on the floor?
I'm sure it has.
Why? What are our toothbrushes doing on the floor?
Well, they get knocked off the counter or whatever when you're
Doing what?
preparing for the day.
What are you preparing with a hula hoop? What are you doing in there? When I'm in there, I've never once knocked your stuff on the floor. If I did, I would have told you right away. Are you serious? You knocked my toothbrush?
What are you freaking out about?
I'm
It's
just
not
making-
that big of a deal.
It's a very big deal. Okay.
It wasn't in the toilet. It was on the floor.
We're going to have a marital spat. Should do that off the air. Ending on a hopefully better subject. In a survey discovered that a quarter of us would turn off our TV for an entire month if it meant having no bills for an entire month.
Oh, I would.
Sign me up for that. Who's doing that study? Will you pay me for that?
Put your money where your mouth is.
Will you buy me a toothbrush too? All right. Thanks for listening. This has been your Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a special guest joining us right now. We've got Cameron Herold. He's the author of a book called Meetings Suck. So I can already tell you, I'm getting along with this guy because I agree with that completely. First of all, let's say hello to Cameron. How are you, sir?
Good, John. How are you doing?
Very good. Glad to have you on the program. And I gotta admit, I agree completely. I'm not a big fan of meetings because kind of seems like most meetings could have probably been summed up in an email, really, couldn't they?
Well, in a lot of cases they can. I think, unfortunately, meetings don't suck. We just suck at running meetings.
There you go. Very true. Now, let's kind of let people know a little bit about who Cameron is. You're the mastermind behind 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Now, when did you start that whole program?
I joined them as the Chief Operating Officer back in October of 2000, and then I was the COO for pretty much 6.5 years up until kind of the middle of 2007 when I left and started coaching CEOs around the world.
That is awesome. So you kind of know a little thing about meetings. I bet you've had a whole bunch of them, haven't you?
Had too many, for sure.
So the book Meetings Suck, how long has this book been out?
Book came out about 2 months ago, coming out to really, really strong reviews globally. What my intention was to finally teach people how to actually run very high-impact meetings. You know, if you think about sending your kid off to Little League Baseball, we would never send our kid off to play Little League for the first time without teaching him how to hold a bat and how to catch a ball and how to throw a ball, just giving them, the little basics.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't feel kind of stupid showing up. And yet we allow our employees to go and attend meetings and participate in meetings or even run meetings without having any of the skills to really do that. So that's really why the book was put in place in the first place. Now,
when it comes to meetings, just as much time, if not more, should probably be spent for the preparation of the meeting, shouldn't it?
Well, it depends. Often I think we actually even get people to over-prepare for meetings. What we really want to do before we tell them to prepare is to let them know what we're going to be covering and kind of giving them the rough agenda of what we're covering, in what order are we covering it, and how many minutes are we going to spend on each agenda item. And if we at least start with that, then we can determine who needs to attend the meetings and if any preparation is in fact necessary.
Now, I've been a part of committees where we have, a committee meeting once a month, and there were times that these are a 1-hour meeting once a month, and you get there and you think, we could do this through an email. Why do we do this once a month? A lot of the time, it's just habit, isn't it?
It is. A lot of times we just get into that habit and we just kind of keep doing the same old instead of requiring people. And I always say no agenda, no attenda. If I don't know what we're covering, in what order we're covering it, and how many minutes we're going to spend on each agenda item, then we're not going to allow people to attend. And I even let people to opt out of meetings and say, you know what, I'd love to attend, but it seems like I've got 6 other things on my plate that are more impactful for me to be working on. And it's not that I don't respect the need for a meeting, it's just that I think my skill set and time is best spent on something else right now. And it should be a badge of honor for people to opt out of meetings instead of just showing up without really knowing why they're there.
Now, you were just talking about having respect, people showing up late. There are some people that think, well, that's disrespectful because they showed up late. But you have a reason why that happens, don't you?
Yeah, people tend to show up late for meetings because they book everything back to back. It's kind of a global issue that really everyone is booking all of their meetings and all of their phone calls without having a built-in buffer. What I like to do is finish every phone call and every meeting 5 minutes prior to the scheduled ending time. And that gives me time to walk down the hall, talk to my assistant, grab a cup of coffee, grab water, check my email, and be starting the next phone call or next meeting exactly on time.
Well, I wish I could say that I do that, but I'm pretty bad at that. I'm one that shows up usually a few minutes late. And I'll tell you the reason that I kind of got in the habit of doing that is I would go to these meetings, and they would waste the first 10 minutes anyway. So I'm like, if I show up 5 minutes late, I'm only wasting 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm trying to treat meetings more like a swim race. If the Olympics were on, you'd never see a swimmer showing up for an 8 o'clock start and walking in 2 minutes late for the race. You'd never see them showing up exactly on time. In my world, if you don't show up 5 minutes early, you're already late. And then what you do is you start on time. We need to stop and break the bad behaviors instead of having people showing up late because you're expecting everyone else to be late. Why don't we press reset and teach people how to actually respect everybody's time?
Exactly. Again, Cameron Herold is our guest. He's got a book called Meetings Suck. Now, how do you best manage the different personalities in a meeting? Because there are some people who are extroverts, and they're more than happy to chime in on everything. And there's others who kind of just sit there and maybe take notes and don't say a word. What's the best way to get everybody to contribute?
Yeah, great point. What I like doing is what I call a Post-it note exercise, and I pass around stacks of Post-it notes, the original 3-inch by 3-inch Post-it notes, and I get everyone to write their ideas down, one idea per Post-it note. And then while the ideas are being written down, you make sure that you're getting ready for the CEO to speak last, or the most senior person in the room to speak last, and you get the most junior people to speak first. And what they do is they read out their ideas and either read them out off the Post-it notes and post them on the wall, or just read them out. But that gets everyone involved and everyone sharing their ideas. You don't really want to have people showing up to a meeting if they're not sharing their ideas. Right?
Yeah.
If it's just an info share or consensus decision, you really need to think about who's there and why you've got them. I think far too often we don't really try to include everyone, and so why do you have them coming in the first place?
Very good point. Cameron, thank you for taking some time to chat with us. Let's tell people where they can find the book, Meetings Suck.
Yeah, it's all available for everyone on Amazon, and it's available both in the hardcover format and in Kindle format as well.
Very nice. Well, I wish you the very best. I appreciate the time today, Cameron. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
John, thanks for having me. Really appreciate your time.
Again, Cameron Herold. The book is called Meetings Suck, and I can't wait. I'm going to read that one myself. That sounds like fun. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. When you join, you'll be giving them the set of numbers that you want them to play, and that's what they will play for you. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that's RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Olive trees may live to be 1,500 years old.
Really?
Yeah, the average lifespan of an olive tree is 500 years old. That's older than our country.
I've never seen an olive tree.
You know what? I don't know if I have. If I have, I didn't know it was an olive tree. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Bananas contain a natural chemical which can make a person happy. It's the same chemical they put in Prozac. So if you have enough bananas, maybe you'll go bananas.
Wow.
Okay. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Sorry. The state of Maine produces almost half of our wild blueberries in this country. The little tiny state of Maine. Almost half of USA's wild blueberries. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Another word for hiccup is singulatus.
Okay.
I think I'd rather say hiccup. Do you have the singulatuses? Yes, I do. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Canada has more inland waters and lakes than any other country in the world. So if you're looking for a place with waterfront, Canada could be where you want to go. Heidi?
I'm good in the U.S.
Been watching this lakefront beach hunt, property hunt thing on TV, and she's
love
like, "Oh, hey,
that
we're going to
show.
move there. No, now we're going to move there. Now we're going to move there."
I've got a
I'm like,
list.
when we retire, we have to move to 58 places. So
No, we're going to travel all of those places,
Oh.
and then we're going to find the one that we
Okay.
like the best.
there you go. A couple of fun facts for you on a Wednesday.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. This Monday was Labor Day, and there's a lot of schools that are back in school now. There were some that went before Labor Day, some that go after Labor Day, but either way, kids are most likely back to school in your neighborhood, and if they're not yet, they will be very, very, very soon. So I have safety at the school bus stop. You ready for this?
Sure.
Always walk to the bus stop, never run, and always walk facing traffic. So you don't want to walk with the cars coming right behind you.
Sure.
You want to be on the side of the road facing traffic. Next, have your child wait in a safe area away from traffic and the road. So if the school bus pulls up to the road, which is where they pull up, don't have the kids stand right on the curb. Have them
Right.
stand back, 15 feet or whatever. So that way they're not in danger if a car happens to drive by too close. Next, stay away from the bus until it comes to a complete stop and the driver signals your child to board. Watch for red flashing lights and the stop sign to be extended. And cross only when all traffic has stopped. Look left and right and left again before crossing. So why left twice? Left, right, left. Look. I guess you could go right, left, right too, I suppose. But just make sure you check and double check. When being dropped off, have your child take 10 giant steps away from the bus. Remember, the bus driver can see your child better when they move away from the bus. So take 10 giant steps away, kids. Next, have your child always use the handrail when entering or exiting the bus, and have them always remain seated until the bus is stopped. More bus etiquette. if you leave something on the bus, never return to the bus to get it. The bus driver may not see you come back and may begin moving the bus. Also, if you drop something near the bus, tell the bus driver before you attempt to pick it up so they'll know where you are. Like if you drop a book under the bus, don't go, I'm going to just climb under there and grab it. Bad idea. Bad idea. Next, be aware of traffic on the roadway. Drivers are required to stop for all legal school buses. However, some do not. I've seen it happen. Have your child watch carefully before crossing the roadway. Remember, in rural areas, the speed limit is greater and thus more difficult for a driver to stop quickly. So be very, very careful out there now that there's kids climbing on and off those buses. And if you happen to be a driver and you come up to a bus and they got the stop sign out, stop. That's why they have the stop sign out. Stop. It's a good plan.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
John and Heidi.
Let's talk business. If you're in business, you need a website. Come on, it's 2016. Do you really think the internet thing is not going to catch on? Many business owners that don't have a website think it's just too expensive. Well, now it's not. You can actually build a website setup for less than $30 a month. If you need help designing it or just laying something out, we're here to help you. Get a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. You can actually build the site and see it online for free during this trial. So why not check it out at radiosavings.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. This could have actually been part of the, it's true because you heard it on the radio earlier.
Okay.
This is an unbelievable story. A baby falls 40 feet onto a concrete parking lot.
Whoa.
But is completely unharmed.
Whoa.
Yeah. In Rochester, England, 18-month-old Sabrina Tarplin crawled to a window ledge of her parents' third-floor apartment and fell 40 feet to the concrete parking lot below.
Oh, my God.
Amazingly, she escaped with only a minor cut and a bruise. Authorities say it was her diaper that helped survive the fall. She landed on her tush, and the diaper was so padded it absorbed the shock and exploded on impact. So when she landed on her butt, and her diaper exploded like an airbag.
Huh.
And the baby was fine. She is so lucky that she didn't land on her head or her back.
But you would think a jolt like that would have caused whiplash or something.
I don't know. All I know is that is an amazing story. 18-month-old Sabrina
very
Tarplin.
Fortunate.
Very, very fortunate. Keep your kids away from... If you've got a 40-foot drop, don't leave the windows hanging open with kids in the house. What are you doing? I mean, that's just a bad idea. All right, coming up, I've got a tip to help you avoid eating junk food. That is on the way. Heidi, I absolutely have to try this. If you're trying to avoid eating junk food, you're supposed to picture yourself eating it. Yeah.
Isn't that how most of us end up eating junk food to begin with?
I could sure go for a hamburger right now. If you picture yourself eating it, one delicious bite at a time, according to a new study, it sounds counterintuitive, but the study shows those of us who imagine eating chocolate bite after bite actually ate less chocolate when they were given the opportunity to chow down on it. And if you picture yourself engaged in some other repetitive task, researchers say they found that the previously held assumption was daydreaming about something desirable like food would increase your craving and boost consumption. But this study shows that actually it decreases it. Here's what I should do. If we order pizza or we have food, I should just, there's a photo of me somewhere eating a slice of pizza. I should just look at that. And then there's another photo of me, holding my piece of pizza over my belly. It looked like I was pregnant. Remember that one? We did that as a gag gift.
I think that's over there somewhere.
We have it here somewhere. I should just look at that before I eat any meal, and then maybe I would eat less. I'm like, maybe I don't want to be this heavy anymore. Oh. All right. One way. See, use visualization. Did I say it right? Visualization. Wow, yes. That's a fun one.
There you go.
I encourage you to use that word today somehow. Squeeze it into a sentence. All right, we're going to talk about how you can become a billionaire by growing a mustache. Well, maybe not quite that easy, but we'll tell you all about it.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John
Hey guys, if you want to make more money, take a lesson from billionaire Ted Turner and grow a mustache. Yeah. Don't count on keeping the extra moolah. A new study... What? Don't count on keeping the extra moolah. A new study reveals that your school career counselors were all wrong when they told you to show up for job interviews with a good clean shave. According to this from National Examiner, they say men who sport mustaches are not only more likely to get hired at job interviews, but they are also more likely to command bigger paychecks, Heidi. This is from a new study performed by Quicken and American Mustache Institute. Am I saying that word funny to you? What are you doing? You're like across the room right now. What are you doing?
There's no way that is accurate. There's just no way.
Mustachioed men make 4.3% more than clean-shaven men. 8.2% more than bearded men. This is according to a poll. And there's the matter of keeping the extra cash. The survey says that men with mustaches spend 11% more and save 3% less than the combined beard and clean-shaven fellows. So they make more money, but they're spending it all keeping that mustache looking good. So, I have a goatee. And I remember one time I thought it would be really funny to shave off the bottom part because Heidi is not a fan of mustaches.
Not at all.
So I shaved off just the bottom, like on my chin, and I had a handlebar mustache.
It was awful.
She hated it. It was 2 hours that I had that?
It was awful. I was like, get it
the whole time
off.
she's like, you need to get out of this room. I'm like, what? She goes, I don't even want you in this room right now. I've never seen anybody so offended by facial hair.
And there's no way that story is accurate. First of all, was not aware the porn industry paid that well.
Not all men with mustaches are in that industry, Heidi. Just so
they all look like they do. They are.
Well, Ted Turner has a mustache, and look how he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he's the only one they could think of. Ted Turner's got one, right? He's got one. Hey, Geraldo, he's got a mustache.
Oh, yeah.
He's
a
right.
shining example of who you want to be.
All right, we've got some good news that is on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is good news. A server's simple act of compassion went a long way last week, Heidi. According to Mashable, Casey Simmons, who works at a Dallas area Applebee's restaurant, was waiting at a grocery store checkout line last Monday when he noticed another patron, an older woman, looking a little bit sad. He started chatting with the woman. When she reached the register, he even paid for her groceries. But Simmons had no idea just how grateful the woman was. The next day, her daughter visited Simmons' workplace. She stopped by Applebee's for lunch and just ordered something that was 37 cents. So she must have just got a drink, some coffee, whatever. She left a $500 tip.
Oh, wow.
In a letter written on a restaurant napkin, the daughter explained that the day at the grocery store was a hard one for her mother. It marked the third anniversary of the loss of her dad. So the mother's husband.
Sure.
So this girl's dad. She said, "You made her year." How cool is that?
That's sweet.
I'm getting choked up just reading this.
You are. I know. I'm looking at you. You're all teary-eyed.
You never know what someone's going through. You see people, and there are times where you'll bump into somebody that's having a bad day. I mean, they're just, they're crabby, they're crotchety, but you don't know. Sometimes, people go, "Oh, what a jerk," but you don't know what just happened to them. What if that person just got a phone call saying that their granddaughter had cancer? What if that person, like this lady here, was realizing as she was at the grocery store that it was 3 years ago today that I lost my husband, Be a bright spot. Anytime you get a chance, be a bright spot in that dark day. I mean, it's a good idea. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
You okay over there? She's making fun of me for getting all... You know what? I get a little emotional about this.
Yeah, I know you do.
Because I think it's so cool. That's why I always try to
The
end the
roles
show.
are totally reversed in our marriage.
She's over there shining her gun right now. I gotta clean this gun here. I gotta go to the shooting range when we're done. She doesn't really have a gun in the studio right now.
No, I don't have a gun in the studio, but I was thinking the other day that I should. I saw this cool thing that's a magnet you can put right under your desk, and it's a gun magnet. It'll hold your gun up there.
Can we talk about that later? It's time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. I have that story on our Facebook page. You can check it out at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.